final Western Conference matchup in today's game as the Grizzlies come into town for this one. I'm Kevin Harlan. We've got an action-packed Saturday night of NBA action for you. Thanks for joining us. Here with me tonight, Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke. Today's game continues this Los Angeles Clippers homestand.
Yeah, you know, it's really tough what they're going through right now. The situation they're in, doubt starts to creep in, especially as the losses mount, and that just makes them as a team more and more vulnerable.
You're right, Carter. You know, they seem to be in such a terrible state of mind at this point. No confidence. It feels like the players may not be trusting the coaching staff, trusting each other. It's been very disjointed in terms of the style of play that we've seen from them lately.
And the starting group for the Grizzlies. Randolph and Gasol are down low. Mike Conley and Tony Allen in the backcourt. And it's Prince in at the small forward. And for the Clippers, Chris Paul and Chauncey Billups make up the backcourt. Griffin at the 4 and Jordan at the 5. And it's Barnes in at the 3 spot. And the Clippers making a switch here. Crawford's checked in.
Well, you think about what Chris Paul meant to the Clippers, guys, not just on the floor, and that's pretty obvious. He's one of the best point guards in the league, if not the best. But it had more to do with the identity of the team. I think people took him seriously after that deal. And in fact, you know, in L.A., there was a budding rivalry between the Clippers and the Lakers for who was the city's best team. And that had never been a question before.
Good on the shot. Grizzlies on defense. It's a 3-point game. They're moving on after the tough loss they took at the hands of the Nuggets.
Well, they had a difficult night from the field in that game, guys. They just didn't look to be working very hard to get good looks offensively.
Well, you know what, Steve? I'm going to disagree with you. I thought they could have worked a little bit harder offensively, but I think it was more the fact they just had a cold shooting night, and that happens sometimes.
And so he draws the foul on the shot, a trip to the line to shoot 2. For so long, Steve, you know, it seemed that the Clippers were always the second fiddle, but with Chris Paul ending up there and not in a Laker uniform, it just changed the whole mindset, Clark, it seems, of the franchise.
And if you've had the tough breaks that the Clippers have had over the years, you know, one big moment, a big player acquisition like a Chris Paul can really move your franchise in a totally different direction.
Now here's Crawford. Had a tough time getting anything going against the Grizzlies. He was a non-factor. Here's Griffin. And he converts the layup. Griffin's got his second best.
I'm sure they'd like to get more shots like that.
Griffin with the steal. Leads him in there. Here's Crawford. Here's Jordan. And he slams it in one-handed.
Look at that effort. Does he set a great example out there or what?
In plays like that, he does sure what work on the offensive glass we see with him.
Yeah, that was awesome. Put back with the slam. Are you kidding me?
Well, the big fella's showing us a little explosiveness for a change.
Well, maybe Clark is working on his dunk skills because he looked perfectly at home right there.
Yeah, sometimes he can climb those, so glad to see him get that one down.
Takes it up. Takes it up with a stop.
You know, once he corralled that rebound, he was in just the right spot to power it back down.
You can see it coming too.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way that was going to be a simple little putback. He saw the angle and he gave it a little something extra.
Prince misses.
And no defender was around him to influence that shot. It didn't hurt them there, but, you know, they can't make that mistake twice. Vinny Del Negro now in his 5th season as an NBA coach. He spent 2 years coaching in Chicago, now in his 3rd year with the LA Clippers.
Conley kicks to Randolph. That's in there. Conley with the assist. Randolph's got 5. Clippers have gone 5 of 9 from the field here in the first.
Well, Clark, they really shot terribly from downtown in that one and eventually paid the price for it.
They sure did. I mean, sometimes you can make up for poor three-point shooting with a strong inside game, but theirs wasn't quite strong enough.
Well, going back to Coach Vinny Del Negro, 14-year playing career, 12 in the NBA, played a couple years in Italy. His best NBA year, Steve, with the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah, Vinny was an excellent shooter, particularly in the mid-range. Loved to come off low screens along the baseline, curl into the lane, and shoot over the top of the defense. Had a good feel for the game, could run the floor a little bit. So a nice, solid player in the NBA, and has turned into a good coach as well. Yeah, Kevin, I love watching Randolph play. He's a natural scorer. He's got great hands. He can score inside or out. Very crafty when he gets his hands on the ball in the paint. Just finds the right angles to score.
You know, Steve, it's really remarkable when you watch Zebo go to work because he just finds a way to put the ball in the basket. Not overly athletic, doesn't out-jump folks, doesn't overpower folks. He just puts the ball in the hole against all kinds of defenses.
And the whistle blows. It's going to be on Michael Conley. That's his first foul.
Great defense. He anticipated the play and got there first.
Yeah, I think he got there in time. Nice play.
And the Clippers all time here. We're looking for a little bit of redemption in this one after the loss to them here last time.
Well, if they're going to avoid losing to this team like they did last meeting, they're going to have to do a better job rotating guys in and out and staying fresh because they really did not use their bench, and it came back to haunt them.
Lamar Odom is checked in for DeAndre Jordan. The Grizzlies also changing it up. Griffin's checked in, and it's Pondexter in for Tayshaun Prince. And the Clippers making a change here. Hollins is checked in, and Memphis also making a switch. Gasol's checked in. The Clippers shooting their first free throws of the game right now.
And, you know, you don't have to tell them what their free throw numbers are. I mean, they're well aware of it, believe me.
The Grizzlies making a switch here. Pippin's checked in. And just a touch again on Steve's point, they had real problems dealing with the bench in the last loss.
I'd agree with you. I mean, it was the biggest issue for them. And like you said, Steve, they're going to have to go deeper into their own bench this time.
And the Grizzlies making a change here. Davis is checked in.
So an opportunity here, guys, to check out some of the numbers for Michael Conley. Second in steals and one of the better passers in the top 20 in assists per game.
And Steve, I think the steals per game average that he sport is really an impressive stat. You think about coming up with the steals that he does, the way he does it with smart and tenacity.
And now the fast break with the ball.
A very opportunistic defense there, leading to those points.
That's exactly what they'll do to you, Steve. They will pounce on your mistakes.
And taken away by Paul. And Paul with a clear path to the hoop. A huge slam, the perfect end of the fast break.
A lot of points for them here early in the first quarter. I mean, this could get ugly.
Yeah, they sure could. They're on quite a pace right now. Judging by their lead, this game could get out of hand in a hurry.
And that one's good. .132 left in the first quarter of the game. And now to Doris, who spoke with Vinny Del Negro. Doris?
Yes, Kevin, and he didn't outright say that he didn't worry about defense here, but it was all about offense for them this game. He said numbers 1, 2, and 3 on our list are getting good looks, good movement, and hitting shots. That's all there is to it. Let's see if their approach works.
Thank you, Doris. And guys, the focus being on the offensive side of things, they obviously don't want to let their defensive guard down, so to speak, can they?
No, of course not, Kevin, but you do game plan around your strengths. For them, that means really mapping out this offensive strategy first.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, but I also agree with Kevin, too. I mean, too much focus on the offensive end could leave them vulnerable at the other end.
The Grizzlies have gone 4 of 6 so far from the line, missing a couple.
And comparing to the numbers of last season, they've made a bit of improvement. So that's some positive momentum they can look to build on.
Blake Griffin, he's checked in for the Clippers. Barnes comes in for Grant Hill.
Well, that certainly sent a ripple through the crowd.
And alley-oop always does that. One of the most beautiful plays you'll see in all of basketball. It's impossible not to be impressed.
Yep, very exciting play to see that.
Especially when it ends with that big slam like that one.
There's the foul to go on that Davis. Second team. That's his first foul. Call for 3.
Well, you know, it doesn't seem like they've missed many shots here.
Look from Crawford. Releases from the wing and drills it.
Boy, what a fantastic opening quarter for them.
Yeah, it sure has been. Look at the lead they've jumped out to already. Impressive.
The Grizzlies have shot 75% of the strike, 6 of 8.
That's been one of the strongest aspects of this team this season. I mean, there have been very few off nights for them at the free throw line.
Paul against Conley. From the baseline. The shot's good from Paul. Paul's got 7 points.
He took advantage of that pick, and he did the rest, knocking down the J.
Conley inside the line. And an overpowering first quarter effort. Already it's 20. And welcome back. It's been all one-sided so far through the first quarter as our second quarter gets underway. And quite a position here for the Clippers to be in. What do you think, guys?
Just the start they wanted to this game. Solid offense. They got good ball movement. Established a nice rhythm.
Yeah, not stagnant at all. Free-flowing and fluid at the offensive end.
So with Billups on the bench, who's on the floor now for Vinny Del Negro. Griffin at the 4 and Jordan at the 5. Crawford out there with Chris Paul. And it's Barnes at the 3, the small forward. And the Clippers making a switch here. Hill's checked in. He kicks it to Pippen. Here's Day. And another shot. And the basket by Pippen. Pittman's got his first basket of the night.
Excellent job carving out space under the glass to make that putback possible.
And DeAndre Jordan throws it down.
The thing I love about Chris Paul offensively is the great job he does in balancing his own scoring with setting up his teammates. And when he scores, the Clippers are so difficult to defend because then you have to commit defenders to him, and that's when he starts getting the ball to his teammates.
Randolph can't hit.
Tell you what, guys, his size really comes into play when there's a rebound battle going on. He's got an advantage in it.
Yeah, Crawford is everything you want out of a scoring guard. He can spot up and make jump shots or handle the ball and create shots off the dribble. He loves that little crossover move where he'll just hit you going one way, take the ball the other, and rise up and hit that jump shot.
The real struggle with guarding Jamal, Steve, is that once he gets it going, it's really hard to slow him down because of his speed and ability to pull up off the dribble. I mean, he stops on a dime straight up into that lethal jump shot of his.
Willie Green's checked in for the Clippers. Jared Bayless is checked in for the Grizzlies. And you mentioned Chris Paul's great passing last season, playing in Los Angeles, even with more help offensively. Clark, his points went up and his assists went down.
You know, but part of that, it was rumored the New Orleans scorekeepers there were a little generous with how they notched his assist total. His passing is still terrific. Perhaps just graded a little differently, Kevin. You know, that is something that goes on, how assists are totaled from arena to arena.
Lamar Odom is checked in for DeAndre Jordan. And the Grizzlies also with the sub. Gasol's checked in. The Grizzlies trail by 12. Day kicks to Prince. Oh, that's blocked. And here we go. Fast break. Crawford's got it. Here's Green. Griffin passes to Odom. And he throws it down with one hand.
And you really don't want to give up too many dunks like that. One is too many.
No, certainly you're right. That's making it way too easy for sure.
Yeah, major breakdown defensively. They've got to tighten things up here.
Gasol, this is to Randolph. Here's Bayless. Wide open shot is on the money. Clippers leading by 12. Paul gets a screen from Odom. Griffin sets the screen for Paul. Picked by Griffin. Paul gets to Green. Griffin a screen on Prince. 6 to shoot. Here's Crawford. Can't get it to go. And it's Memphis the other way. They'll be off next to Utah for a meeting with the Jazz. That will conclude a 5-game road trip for them.
You know, that Utah game has a lot of attention on it.
Los Angeles calls timeout.
You look at Marc Gasol, second-round pick in 2007. He was part of that Laker trade for his brother Pau. Everybody looked at him as a throw-in, and suddenly he's developed into an all-star center. What a great story.
Catching up on the changes for Memphis. Ed Davis is checked in for Randall. Pondexter comes in for Tayshaun Prince. And Tony Allen subbed in for Day. Out of bounds, the Clippers take possession.
And a chance here to see where the Clippers sit in the NBA statistically right now. First in steals, fourth in assists. And they also show up top 5 in team field goal percentage. That's excellent. Actually, that's elite level.
Dan Clark, this is a team that scares opponents because of that steals number that you talked about. They're so good at anticipating plays. They seem to have a good scheme defensively night in and night out. They know their roles. They make their rotations. They read the passing lanes, and they frequently get out there, make steals, and then get out in their transition game.
Going back to Gasol, you wonder how he lasted to the 48th pick. Skilled 7-footers. He's actually 7'1". Clark don't come down the road that often.
Well, you know what? He was overseas, so sometimes that can hide you a little bit and make some people a little gun-shy about drafting you. There was concern about his conditioning. He battled weight trouble early on, so it's not about where you get drafted. It's about how you produce when you get the opportunity. And he's shown he's a big-time player. He's short for the center position, but he makes up for it with tremendous leaping ability.
Bayless the pass to Gasol. And the Clippers making a change here.
Chauncey Billups. Chris off.
The inbound. And the layup is good. Gasol's got his second basket of the game.
They keep going right back to the paint, and who can blame them? I mean, they're getting it done in there.
Yeah, 3 of their last 5 buckets, guys, have come from inside the lane area, so I'd expect them to continue to go inside right at the defense. You know, you look at Lionel Hollins, and I'm so impressed with the job he's done. I actually played for him way back in 1988. He was an assistant coach with the Phoenix Suns. That was my rookie season. And he was just a really good guy to play for. Worked hard, has a nice way about him. Kind of a player's coach. Really has a good relationship, a good feel for his players.
And it's Hill penetrating. Goes up high for the two-handed dunk.
Ammonia-strong finish right there, partner. You hear me? That was ammonia-strong.
Ripped it down with 2 hands.
That's about as high percentage as you can get.
And that's a foul called on Ronny Turiaf. That is his first foul of the game. And this Grizzlies team, up and coming in the West, certainly. You've got to give Coach Hollins, Steve, a lot of credit for their success.
Well, what he's done is he's given this team an identity and a style, and that's so important in this league. What Memphis is, they're an inside-out team. They're tough, they're blue-collar, and they're going to defend every game, and that really comes from their coach.
Deflects the pass, and stolen by Jordan. Takes the alley-oop pass, and a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here.
Jordan. 2 shots.
But when you look at DeAndre Jordan, just a tremendous physical talent. Great athleticism, can run, can jump. He's already good, but I think as his skills develop, he's got the potential to be a great center.
And the Clippers making a switch here. Barnes is checked in. The Grizzlies also making a change. Jack Randolph is checked in for Ed Davis. Lamar Odom is checked in for DeAndre Jordan. And for DeAndre Jordan, Steve, you mentioned his upside. Right now, almost all his points come across the lane, right around the rim, close in.
Yeah, you'll rarely see him shoot from outside of the restricted arc area, really. I mean, his free throw stroke shows you why. He's got work to do there. He can develop something offensively, a jump hook and a mid-range jump shot. Watch out.
I like that foul. You don't want to give up an easy 2 in transition.
No, you don't want to give up a layup. Make him earn them from the stripe, and maybe you get a break and he makes only 1 of the free throws and misses them both.
Jamal Crawford, he's checked in for the Clippers. And it's Paul penetrating. Crawford dishes to Griffin. And they will get the basket here, folks, as they rule goaltending.
Griffin!
All business there, not messing around one bit. Flushed it right with one hand.
He never does, Clark. He never does.
Well, that's kind of his trademark, those slams like that one.
3-second difference between shot clock and game clock. Conley, defended by Paul. But from Gasol, Odom grabs the board.
There's no getting around the simple fact that that's a shot he has to knock down.
And that one's good, Griffin.
Defense left him just a little window to get through, and he just ducked in for the layup. Terrific job.
Here's Allen. And that concludes the first half. Clippers.
The Grizzlies, 39.
And as we welcome you back, we begin our second half. So far, not a tightly contested game, guys, but, you know, anything can happen.
Blake Griffin doing all sorts of things. He's got 13 points and a steal.
Well, his scoring jumps out at you, but don't forget about his defensive ones. He's been terrific there as well.
Exactly, Steve. I mean, he's been superb in both departments.
Looking off the second half, here's Lionel Hollins' 5. Mike Conley and Tony Allen in the backcourt. Randolph and Gasol are down low. And it's Prince in at the 3. Well, Bayless has checked in for Mike Conley.
And how about the season Marc Gasol had a year ago, guys? He was terrific, made the All-Star team, excellent passer at the high post, but strong, really go down on the block and shoot that jump hook as well.
Here's Barnes. It's rebounded by Memphis. Here is Bayless. Kicks it to Prince. Prince gets the screen from Gasol. And the foul called on Jamal Crawford. That'll be his second foul of the game. Here's the screen. Randolph kicks to Bayless. Into Marc Gasol. And that comes off the assist by Jared Bayless. And that's 10 points for Marc Gasol. And for Marc Gasol, 4 years younger than his 4-time All-Star brother, Pau Gasol. You know, he's entering his prime. And now he's on pretty equal footing, I think, Clark, with his older brother.
Well, you know, he was the 48th pick back in 2007, and that's pretty strong company to be mentioned in with his brother Pau. So he's different. A bigger center. He's 7'1", 265, a little heavier, and seems to be more comfortable playing with his back to the basket. This is Kevin Harlan. Reached up high and brought it down hard.
Well, that's how you do the dunk.
That's how you commentate it.
You guys are crazy.
That's his second.
No, probably the right play defensively. If you can't get the block, send them to the free throw line. Don't give them an easy 2.
No easy buckets inside. Force free throws and work to keep them out of the lane next time around.
So it's both teams making substitutions here. Over a minute and a half into the third quarter of action. The Grizzlies trail by 11. He dishes it to Bayless. Allen. Gasol setting the pick for Allen. Here's Prince. DeAndre Jordan grabs the miss. Jordan's got 3 rebounds now in this one. Inside. Barnes. And stolen by Prince. And here they go. Bayless the pass to Gasol. That's good, and so Bayless with the assist. Bayless has got 3 assists in the game.
Something has to change, guys. That's 10 straight points coming in the paint against this team.
Well, they got to collapse in there, and everybody's got to be conscious of it. It's a team effort in protecting the paint. Control the ball, and then everybody's got to get in there and keep the defense locked down.
John Lure, he's checked in for Zach Randolph. Griffin dishes to Jordan. Down goes the slam.
Whoa, that'll wake you up.
Is he an athlete or what?
He just lives above the rim. I mean, dunks like that have become routine for him. That's what a good solid screen will do for you. Get you a good look at the hoop.
Griffin sets the screen for Paul. Takes a 3. And let's sure that one drops. Paul points.
And defensively, remember, you got to fight through screens to avoid giving up open looks.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Steve. And the defense has to go over the top of that screen. I think that's how they get it done.
Out of bounds.
Out of bounds, the Clippers take possession. Well, you know your low post players are going to take a lot of trips to the foul line. So it helps to have big men who can drain free throws like this group can. Marc Gasol on top.
And with those numbers at the foul line, he should be trying to get there as often as possible. Operating among the big bodies in the paint, he gets those chances.
Well, it works two ways. I mean, he's very physical, understands how to draw fouls, and he's lethal once he gets to the line. But if you're defending him, you got to really watch how you body up on him so you don't send him to the line.
Took the opportunity when he saw it. And that's now 11 points for Crawford.
Well, that's a quality look there. The defense a bit late.
2 straight now from long range, putting up points in a hurry, Clark.
Offensive rebound. Los Angeles, and it's Davis with the jam.
Now Davis is still building out his frame physically and kind of figuring out who he is as a player. I think ultimately it's about hustle. It's about being physical, being in the paint, and really mixing it up down there for Davis.
Yeah, that'll allow him to block more shots, get rebounds, get more second chance buckets. He has a lot of potential as embracing that big man role and going from there. And the basket by Hill.
That's 9 straight points coming off 3 3-pointers. The defense just getting shelled.
Steve, the threes are killing him. I think they've got to find a way to chase him off the three-point line.
Brewer inside. Griffin on him. Allen kicks to Davis. Mark down low that time, and he got the 3-second call.
And a chance here to check out some of the numbers for Chris Paul. First in steals, second in assists. And of course, he's been extremely accurate from the free throw line, ranking in the top 5 in the NBA in free throw percentage.
And just to mention his steals again, Steve, he's one of those guys who's in a zone where it's like he knows what the other guys are doing. His anticipation is excellent. I mean, it's almost psychic.
Oh, offensive interference. The Grizzlies trail by 15. Conley kicks to Lewis. And so it's going to be a 3-second violation out there on the defense.
Well, you know, you look at the success of teams like Oklahoma City who built through the draft. I mean, teams starting to emulate that method for building up talent, but it takes patience. I think some are starting to question the incentive when teams are, in a sense, getting bad to get good. I think it's worth examining if that's the best model for the league to incentivize.
Here's Davis. The baseline jumper goes down. Davis has got his 3rd basket of the night.
You know, Kevin, his scoring has been one of the few positives they can take away from this game so far.
Paul with the 3. Cut the bucket. Going back to what Clark just talked about, Steve. Some call it tanking for draft picks. I like that word, but some people will use it. Teams like, say, Houston, they're trying to go from solid to great. It's not easy without the superstars that top draft picks can provide.
And the irony, of course, is that even if you have the best chance of winning the lottery, it's still only a 25% chance. So tanking isn't always going to pay off. The lottery often just comes down to a random drop of the ping pong ball, and all of a sudden some team that's had a decent season is getting the #1 pick. But it's a difficult issue to tackle for sure. That's all the space he needs, guys. He'll make you pay every time you give him that shot.
And the whistle blows. It's going to be on Michael Conley. That's foul number 2 for him. Big group substitution here for the Clippers. It's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot.
Shooting
Velocity to break in the action, so let's take a look at the West and how the teams are stacking up. You look at Memphis. And, of course, the Los Angeles Clippers. They're tied right now. He misses the free throw. And some changes here for the Grizzlies. Prince comes in for Quincy Pondexter. And it's Austin Day in for Tony Allen. 1:25 left in the 3rd quarter. Conley off the pick from Davis. Here's the 3. But they get it back. And Chauncey Billups gets the whistle that time. That is his first foul of the game. Lamar Odom, he's checked in for the Clippers. The Grizzlies also making a change. Jack Randolph's checked in for John Newell. Good. Clippers leading by 11. 58 seconds left in the third. Wayans with the bucket.
And defensively, remember, you got to fight through screens to avoid giving up open looks.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Steve. And the defense has to go over the top of that screen. I think that's how they get it done.
Prince with it. And now by Barnes. They're whistled for a blocking foul, and he'll head to the line.
What a great game for Randolph in this one. He has 9 points, and he's knocked down 5 shots and charity strikes. Good numbers for him.
Yeah, good numbers, and that's been important for his team. They needed some points. He's provided some easy ones at the foul line, but he's making an impact here.
And the Clippers making a switch here. Hollins is checked in. Bayless is checked in for Memphis.
Boy, perfect half at the free throw line for him. That'll help their comeback effort for real.
Yeah, that's keeping them close. It's going to take a full effort here in the second half, but they've got to continue to knock down these free throws.
And the Grizzlies with possession here. Lamar Odom unable to get his shot to go. Here's Dave. This is the three.
Tough three-point try there with a hand in his face.
Boy, you'd be lucky to make that one against great defense.
Davis with it. 10 points for him. And that'll be Memphis as it goes out of bounds. Grizzlies retain possession. We've got 13 seconds left here in the third quarter.
And that hurts. Yeah, big mistake there, especially when you're trailing.
Billups with the ball. Billups off the pick from Odom. Billups attacking. Here's Hollins. And here's the intentional foul, but you know it's coming here at a very inopportune time.
Yeah, that's a bad play there. That can really cost you the game. You've got to be smart when you make those intentional fouls.
He hits the second from the line. Here's Hollins. The second chance bucket is good.
Well, not only does he excel at getting those offensive rebounds, but he's really good getting putbacks and layups off of those boards.
Dexter with it, guarded by Jordan. And he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him.
Yeah, he absorbed the foul and had a chance to knock it down.
That's all you can ask right there. I like that play.
Both teams will make substitutions. And the second free throw, good. Clippers have gone 5 of 6 from the field to start the fourth quarter on a roll. An alley-oop pass. A shot by Odom, no good.
That would have been a nice alley-oop there.
Well, you got to love the effort, though. Almost showed you.
With the prospect of making a big lead even bigger.
Yeah, they've got to jump at the chance to actually stretch this thing out even more. Good point.
And the slam by Blake Griffin.
There's one thing about the alley-oop. You can't fire the pass in there. You got to have some air under that pass. It needs a little hang time.
That's exactly right. A lot of finesse. Just like that one was. Perfectly thrown.
And that's what makes the play so much fun to watch. There's finesse on the front end, but then power on the end.
And Bayless kicks to Davis. Into Marcus. And they immediately answer back with the dunk at the other end. Clippers leading by 16. Ball goes in. Goes for the alley-oop. And Griffin slams it in.
The lift they've gotten from him today has been huge. I mean, he's been steady offensively and has helped them get out in front here so far.
Here's Gasol. And that comes off the assist by Jared Bayless. Bayless has got his 6th assist on the night. The Clippers have gone 8 of 11 from the field in the final period. Great shooting down the stretch. Billups passes to Odom. The basket good off the assist from Billups. 6 points for Lamar Odom.
I can imagine they're going to hear an earful about this next stop. I mean, that's 3 straight field goals given up right in the middle of the lane. Inexcusable.
Well, defense starts at the rim. I mean, you want teams shooting the ball from the outside, and that's not happening. They're just giving up everything inside.
DeAndre Jordan's checked in for Lamar Odom. Zach Randolph is checked in for Memphis. Prince comes in for Quincy Pondexter. From outside the arc.
You can't get into much better position for the 3 than that. Everything was right on target. It just didn't fall.
Prince's shot is good.
Heard the whistle and still kept his focus, able to knock that down.
And that is not easy, Steve. I mean, to take the bump, to maintain control of your body, and put it in the hole, tremendous play.
Tony Allen's checked in for Memphis.
That'll be a kick ball.
Hit his leg. And the ref saying he kicked it. Grant Hill, he's checked in for the Clippers. Michael Conley, he's checked in for Memphis. Backing down is Jordan. Back to Griffin. He gathers. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here.
At the line, here are Clippers.
You know, we've all talked about the athleticism that Blake Griffin possesses. What I've noticed already is he's got some grit to him as well. This is a tough guy. He'll dunk on you and give you the stare down. He comes at you nose to nose. He's got a nice edge to his game that you see in a lot of the great ones, and just has to continue to add to his skill level as a power forward.
Jamal Broncos take possession. Going back to what Clark was saying about Blake Griffin, it seems like he's starting, Steve, maybe to wear another big man a little bit, the big dunks, the little stare downs. Do you sense, Steve Kerr, some resentment going here toward him?
Well, if there is, I think that's a good thing. I mean, if you're the Clippers, you want players who are competitive and a little nasty, and I think Griffin's got that. I think that's what makes him special. It's not just the athleticism, it's the competitive nature. And as long as he channels that the right way and continues to work on his game, it's going to suit him awfully well.
Here's Crawford. Grizzlies making the shot. Griffin a screen on Randolph. Crawford dishes to Griffin. Grizzlies break. Conley's running. Another miss by Conley. Crawford left side. Lots of room. Good, and Paul gets the assist. Paul's got assist number 8 here in this one already. The Grizzlies trail by 17. Allen kicks to Conley. Puts the lead pass in front of him. Prince against Hill. Look from Crawford. Another one falls for the Clippers.
Now it's hard to set up your D when you've just turned it over at the other end.
Yeah, a lot of points have been given up here, Steve, by way of turnovers. And their defense has just been short-circuited by their offense.
You know, the way it usually goes is if you're in the NBA, you were probably the best player on your team in college. But there are some exceptions to that. And there have been really quite a few NBA stars that weren't even considered the best player on their college teams. Kevin Love is a name that jumps out.
Grizzlies making a switch here. Gasol's checked in. And Zach Randolph gets the whistle that time. And that'll be his 3rd foul so far. Bayless is checked in for Mike Conley. Crawford's shot is good. As you mentioned, Steve, Kevin Love overshadowed a bit on his UCLA team by Darren Collison, but he certainly is blossoming.
Well, I think that's going to be the case with a lot of young freshmen who come into the NBA based on potential more than production. They don't get a chance to prove that they're the best player on the floor. So you have to sort of predict that they actually were the best player on the floor, that they were going to become that. And that's why a guy like Love was, even though he wasn't, you know, the guy at UCLA, you could tell he was about to become that.
He's off on the first. And he sinks the second. .29 seconds left in the 4th quarter. Ball outside. Back to Jordan. He feeds it to Hill. It's up a 3. It's rebounded by Randolph. And now the Grizzlies, fast break. Prince in for the dunk.
Nice little run here, but it may be too little too late.
Yeah, I agree. Just not enough time, Steve. The clock is their enemy, not their friend.
So the Clippers winning this one easily. You know, Clark, every team has a bad night. These guys might want to watch the tape of this game the next time they have a bad night to remind themselves how dominant they can be.
Well, this is one of those dream-like games for a coach.
Thank you for joining us for this presentation of the NBA on 2K Sports. For Clark, Stephen Doris, and the rest of the crew, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Last but not least, here is your Jordan Player of the Game, Blake Griffin.